The following is a fan-based video review under fair use. Jaws is owned by Universal Pictures, Amblin Entertainment, Steven Spielberg, and the Peter Benchley estate. Please support the official release and streaming services.
Oh, Dino. Always cashing in on other successes. Oh, hey everybody, it's BigJackFilms here, and today we're... Wait, what are we doing again? Alright, welcome to Jaws Month, everybody. Considering that it's the 4th of July, and Shark Week is whoring itself out again, I thought I'd take a look at the film that started it all, its many sequels, and one ripoff that deserves a lot more attention. So let's not waste any time and... I'm sorry, sexy shark model 1975. I got like 5 reviews to do this month. Sharks need food too. So let's begin this marathon by looking at the plot of a classic film. This is Jaws. Set on a small island known as Amity in the summertime, the film tells the story of Chief Brody, played by Roy Scheider, who stands as the island's chief of police, as the town is getting ready for its big tourist business on the 4th of July. But that's all about to change when rumors of a killer shark lurks in the waters, preying upon innocent swimmers. Brody tries to convince the mayor, played by Murray Hamilton, to cancel the swimming portion of the celebration. But the characteristics of the mayor can pretty much be summed up like this.
I'm sorry, Carl, I can't see you. I have huge dollar signs in my eyes.
To help find the shark, Brody hires Matt Hooper, played by Richard Dreyfuss, a student at an oceanographic institute, to study the sea monster and hopefully destroy it. But as the shark, now seen as a 25-foot great white, devours more and more victims, Brody and Hooper turn to more drastic measures and hire a big game fish hunter. Joined by the drunkard Captain Quint, played by Robert Shaw, they set sail into open waters to go Moby Dick with the shark in order to kill the beast.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
So as most of you know, Jaws is not only one of my favorite films, consider that a lot of my favorite films were made in the 70s, like Star Wars and King Kong among others, as well as the combo of Universal and Spielberg, but I consider the film the scariest movie ever made. The film did and continues to terrify me. My uncle introduced me to the film on VHS, as well as Jaws 2 when I was 4 years old. And ever since, whenever I go in the water or go into a pool, I go underwater and see a great white within the deep end of my vision, and when John Williams' famous score starts kicking in my head, I run right the fuck out of the pool. As well, I have nightmares about the vicious beast attacking me in the water. But nowadays, I also consider it a great adventure and an inspiring film, filled with fantastic characters, a great suspenseful story, and a lot of heart and effort put into making it.
So when I think of Jaws, I think about courage and stupidity. And I think of both of those things existing underwater.
It definitely stands the test of time as a classic in film history, so let's talk about the characters. First, there's Chief Brody, who by all accounts is a great character and really drives the story.
In the yard, not too far from the car.
While he is the town police chief, he's very much a family man, and his determination to protect him is what drives him to kill the beast. In fact, Roy Scheider was not the original choice for the role. Paul Newman and Robert Redford were Peter Benchley's first choice for the role.
And David Brown and Richard Zanuck pointed out to me quite kindly that the star of this movie was a fish.
And one of the actors who wanted to play the part was surprisingly Charlton Heston. But Spielberg felt that he was too big for the part. But no one in my eyes could have pulled it off better than Roy Scheider. He kills the part and he is a very likable guy. But aside from that, you really feel bad for Brody that no one is listening to him, even when he's hiring a high-class oceanographer.
Hey, you know those 8 guys in the Fantail launch out there?
Yeah?
Well, none of them are gonna get out of the harbor alive.
Speaking of which, probably my favorite character in the movie is Matt Hooper. He's a very energetic character and has a smart-ass attitude, which is funny and entertaining.
That's it. Goodbye. I'm not gonna waste my time arguing with a man who's lining up to be a hot lunch.
Richard Dreyfuss plays it very well. In fact, he actually didn't want to do it originally because he said it would have been a bitch to shoot.
Oh, the classic irony.
I am familiar with the fact that you are going to ignore this particular problem until it swims up and bites you on the ass.
But after seeing one of his first films, The Apprenticeship of Denny Kravitz, he hated his performance and wanted to improve. So he begged Steven for the role, and the response paid off, because Hooper was a one-of-a-kind role.
All right. Hey, I don't need this. I don't need this working-class hero crap.
But of course, one of the highlights of the film is not just the shark, but the late Robert Shaw as Captain James Quint, who gives a bone-chilling performance as a drunk-hard captain determined at all costs to kill the giant creature. You can see the terror and intimidation in his eyes, and you know full well when he's there you want to stay the fuck away from him.
Excuse me, Chief.
Apparently most of the time on the shoot, Robert drank a lot. While it did concern a lot of people on the set, I feel in some ways it gave the character more of a proper tone, because this is a guy who has seen some shit. The famous scene of him talking about the USS Indianapolis is well spoken and is incredibly quotable. In fact, most of Quint's lines are quotable.
This shark, swallow you whole.
Japanese submarine slammed 2 torpedoes into our side, Chief.
He's gonna have a heart attack when he sees what I brought him!
Lifeless eyes, black eyes like a doll's eye.
Yep, that's some classic dialogue there, people. Anyway...
White girl jerking off and sucking dick and getting fucked by 4 black guys.
Eh?
She took my dick in her mouth, her eyes rolled back white.
Here's to swimming with Down syndrome women!
There's that high-pitched screaming and hollering cum all over the place. Farewell and adieu to your brain-damaged child. You can't stay down with 4 dicks in her.
Okay, enough! God! Patrice, help me out here.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
So kudos to the late actor for giving us one of the most memorable sea captains in film. As well, the rest of the characters are great, including many of the shark's victims, and of course Murray Hamilton as the corrupt mayor, who, let's be honest, I think all of us wanted to see him eaten by the shark.
For Christ's sake, tomorrow's the 4th of July, and we will be open for business.
Speaking of which, let's talk about the real villainous monster of the film, Bruce the Shark.
Whether you call him Jaws, Bruce, or just the shark, there's no doubt to anyone that this creature of the sea is one of the most terrifying monsters in cinema history. In fact, I put him up there with the classic Universal monsters. What's great about the creature is that you don't really see him until the movie is half over, but you feel his presence whenever the music plays and those POV shots are in place underwater. Reason for it is because in the entire shoot, the mechanical shark, which was created by 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea FX master Bob Matty, never really worked on set. So Spielberg had to shoot everything but the shark, and even went to the films of Alfred Hitchcock for inspiration.
So wherever you were on the island, you could hear the radio mics. And they were always saying, the shark is not working, the shark is not working, repeat, the shark is not working. No matter where you were, and for months.
But not seeing the shark really jumped the film to better things upon its release, and it really paid off. While the shark is a really great design, the most we see of him is quite scary. But it's more scary when we don't see him, for primal fear is the greatest horror than the stuff we can't see. Which brings us, of course, to the great score by John Williams. This was his first collab with Spielberg, and this film made him as famous as the director himself. When John created the 2 notes that would scare anyone away from the water, Spielberg thought he was joking, but boy was it no joke.
And at first I began to laugh. I thought he had a great sense of humor. He was putting me on. And he said, no, that's the theme to Jaws. And I said, play it again. He played it again, and he played it again, and it suddenly seemed right.
While it has a great adventure tone, these 2 notes would horrify many, as well as myself, to never want to go in the water. It's very equal to that of the infamous shower scene in Psycho, and still remains one of my favorite scores John has done.
So overall, there's a lot to like about this classic film.
Now, are there any elements that sink?
Well, honestly, no. This movie's pretty perfect. Yeah, sure, it has some characters that can be a little annoying and some plot threads that go nowhere, but the film still holds up with its photography, sets, and effects. As a side note, let's talk about the attractions at Universal theme parks. The first one from Hollywood is still a great little experience, but to be honest, it feels a little short and the sure could probably use a good animatronic upgrade. Probably more on par with the one in Florida. Speaking of which, as a kid, I visited Universal Studios Florida in 1998 and rode Captain Jake's Amity boat tour.
10 minutes? We'll be shark bait in 10 minutes.
And much like the film, it scared the shit out of me. The shark and fire effects, along with the beautifully crafted sets, really made you feel like you stepped into the town of Amity. But visiting that studio is what sparked my goal of filmmaking. While it's an outstanding ride, it sadly no longer stands in the Orlando backlot, replaced by London in Diagon Alley in 2013, and I'm still upset it's gone. But luckily, Amity and the ride still survive in Japan, so check it out while you have the chance. There are also several documentaries about the film and are worth checking out to get a taste of what shooting a difficult movie like this is like. I'd highly recommend Jaws: The Inside Story and The Shark is Still Working. Great educational pieces for young filmmakers.
You don't even need dialogue. I mean, you just see the situation there, and your own primal fear about something you can't see into is enough to hold your interest in that movie. People still watch that movie because it scares the hell out of them.
So overall, Jaws from my perspective still stands the test of time to this day and is overall a mind-blowing classic. With its great suspense, amazing characters, a creative adventure, and a production that is as interesting as the film itself, it truly is a masterpiece of filmmaking and is one of Spielberg's crowning achievements. I'd highly recommend checking it out. Even if you're not a horror fan, there's still too much to love about this incredible picture. A solid 10 out of 10, a real horrifying classic.
So that was Jaws, everybody. A great fishtail and a classic film. I'd highly recommend checking it out when you have the chance. So anyway, Why the hell am I in the middle of the ocean? Jaws 2? There was a sequel? Who said this?
My greatest fear has become my worst enemy. Well guys, next time I guess I'll take a look at Jaws 2 and see if it holds up as good as the first. Until then, I gotta find a way out of here.